Soccer is the world's game. Everyone plays it. You could find a kid up in the mountains of Peru with the same exact interest and love as a child all the way east in the deserts of Egypt. It's going to be soccer, or as most of the world calls it, football. My goal out of this documentary is going to be documenting the youth side of the game. The side of the game where we all begin and where everyone begins. Playing in your hometown with your friends, to improving, going to select higher levels, getting into a club team, and then going pro. But we're going to the youth, the heart and soul of the game. We all start somewhere. You'll be kicking a ball on the street in Rio de Janeiro, or maybe normally in the United States, playing recreational soccer on the weekends with your local neighborhood team. Rec soccer is the launching pad for all skill levels in the United States. It is the petri dish, per se, of where soccer begins. Everyone plays it. Doesn't matter if you haven't played soccer ever before, or it doesn't matter if you've been playing it for 5 or 10 years. You've played rec soccer before, and you maybe still be playing it. We all come from somewhere. But then, as you improve or keep playing, you can see who improves the most. Talent emerges. Some players play better than others. They perform higher. They are smarter, quicker about the game than most of the other opponents. These players get picked and usually go to select level soccer or higher level club teams in their respective states. These select level trainings put more intensive training on the players to improve their skills even higher. The coaches are generally more invested and more committed to improving each of their players to the max level they could possibly be. And overall, putting that higher standard on them to be the best they can be. This now creates a fork in the road for soccer in the United States. It is going in two paths of rec select. Now some might think it maybe isn't two paths, is where you start with rec and then you improve to select. Well, a lot of people don't. A lot of people don't go to select and they stay in rec soccer. And that's all they play. And there's hidden talent in rec soccer that isn't being tapped into, and also talent in select that isn't being tapped into. I'm going to talk about how both these paths aren't necessarily wrong, but are how they are different and also how they are similar in comparison. People look at them pretty black and white, and by stereotypes, people that think of when they ask about select, when asked about select, they think it's premier level players. They think it's players that generally have good financial wealth, that they can afford the higher level training, and also players that are just generally better than the average pot. They can compete better, they're faster, stronger, quicker, smarter, more athletic than everyone else. But I mean, a lot of people also see select as just kind of a label. A label that they can just show off to anyone who they are and say that I'm a better player than you, I have more status than you, and I'm essentially, I can say what I want about you because you're in the wrong and I'm in the right. Which I think is wrong. I think you shouldn't be used, I don't think select's intentions at all are to create this snobby rich level class of soccer in our country, imposing themselves on the rec soccer and saying that this is where you need to be, and you doing rec soccer isn't the right thing to do. Join the elite class, pretty much, for example. I think that's not their goal. I think their goal is to just improve the players as much as they can. They want the best they can be, and that's wonderful. I know many people have done it and enjoyed doing the select soccer. But the stereotypes don't just go one way, they go for rec as well. Rec stereotypes are ones where they don't, it is kind of a carefree league. It is a league that isn't really competitive. It is more laid back. The coaches are more laid back. The referees are more laid back. The players are generally laid back, and the talent level is up and down and all over the place. Which isn't necessarily wrong, but it is oversighting lots of talent in the rec league. Lots of good teams play rec. Lots of select teams come back and play rec soccer because they can't find enough players or teams to play at the high level select when they get to around ages 18, 19. Most teams, at least from my experience playing rec soccer, stay together for a longer period of time than does select squads. And now also rec is stereotypes as players not really caring, and then usually when they get older they move on, which makes teams disband. Which is true in a sense, but not always true. I've interviewed two of my teammates, two people that I really care about, and two people that have really interesting stories about select and rec. I personally don't have any I personally don't have any select experience, and I need someone to talk about that. My teammate Sophia Collins, who played select soccer all her life and played Premier Soccer for a couple of years, is a very good insight on how she feels what the organization does and her commitment level to it. And on the other hand, my good teammate Elijah Breslauer, who played rec soccer with me for 12 years on the same team, has a great experience looking at rec soccer and how he feels our team was more as an outcast and more as a more unique squad, maybe not outcast, but unique. And how unique we were because we did really care about how good we were, even though we were in a rec league. So here are the interviews. We're beginning with Sophia and then ending with Elijah. So growing up with soccer, what was your general experience at a young age?
When I was like really young, I started out with rec. I think it was first grade. My friend's dad was the coach, so it was like a neighborhood like community thing that we kind of did. Mm-hmm. And I did that through like, I think it was 6th grade, but it was cool because it was the people that I like lived close to, and we were all a team. And that was mostly just about like friendship and stuff. Like we weren't good, mm-hmm. But
it was more about just having fun and playing with friends and not really caring about the game mm-hmm. and the results. Okay. Then you went to a higher select level afterward?
Yeah, in 6th grade I tried out for NSC, which mm-hmm. was like North Shore Select Club, and I played that through freshman year of high school. Okay. And that was like, it was a step up from rec. Mm-hmm. We did more traveling. It was a bigger like time commitment. Mm-hmm. And
were you nervous going into that?
Kind of. It was with like a whole new group of people that I didn't know, so it was mostly about like the making friends with teammates part that I was nervous about.
Yeah. And
my first year, I remember being like the worst one on the team, which was kind of like stressful, but yeah. I got better. I like trained and stuff, and by the time I was like a freshman in high school, I was pretty solid.
Do you think being like, at least looking at yourself as not being the most skilled on the team, helped you or just give you that drive to improve?
It did, yeah. I spent a lot of like time in my like on my off days mm-hmm. just practicing, getting better, like working on my touches and stuff, and that really helped.
Cool. And did you think that made you a better player in the end?
Definitely, yeah.
Nice. Did you feel any outside pressure from fans, coaches, or even teammates when playing at the higher select level?
Not when I played select. When I moved to Premier and through high school, mm-hmm. During high school, it was a lot of pressure from like opposing teams' crowds. There was like, they were just like mean, but like That was the one thing from high school that I didn't like was how mean other teams
Mhm.
and other student sections were to like opposing teams.
Yeah.
And then when I played for Crossfire Premier,
Mhm.
since it was like a higher level, the parents were like really into it.
Mhm.
And like especially like if you would foul someone on the other team, the parents would single you out and like yell at you, which I thought was really annoying because it's
Jeez.
a kids game, not a parents game.
Yeah, that doesn't sound too great.
Yeah.
Ugh.
There were like a few incidents where parents had to be like kicked out. Actually, there's probably more than a few that happen frequently.
Do you think that's acceptable?
I do not. It is really unacceptable.
Yeah.
There was a girl on my team whose dad got regularly kicked out for just like making scenes and stuff. And it was embarrassing for her
Mhm.
and our team.
Yeah. Like if your parents were doing that, like how would that make you feel?
I would be really embarrassed. But luckily, my parents are pretty chill.
That's good.
Mhm.
Long pause. Just trying to find the right question. Because you said the fans for the most part were the most intense and were giving the most like attention to you as players, especially as the away team. Do you think that your select group like Crossfire, for example, should put higher regulations on fan behavior?
I think they should, but there's really like not much that can be
Mhm.
done other than the ref like kicking out
Yeah.
whoever's making the scene, which I feel is pretty regulated.
Mm-hmm. For the most part, they do a good job at keeping
Yeah.
it control and calm.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm. All right. Going on to travel, how much compared to like when you did rec soccer, then going to select, how much travel did you do regularly?
Select, it was probably like twice a year. We would
Okay.
do like a travel summer
Mhm.
tournament and then a winter one.
How far did you travel? Like, what was the longest trip you had to go on?
We just went to Oregon for my select team.
Okay. Where in Oregon
Um,
specifically?
We did the Mount Hood Challenge a few times, which was Portland, I think.
Okay.
And then there's another one we did, which I think was further south.
Mm-hmm. All right. And it was a enjoyable experience?
Yeah,
going
that
down?
was like my favorite part,
Oh, awesome.
like hanging out in the hotel with teammates.
Yeah, nice.
Mhm.
Do you think the price that you have to pay for doing select soccer is worth the experience that you gain?
I think for select soccer, definitely, because it's a lot lower priced than Premier,
Mhm.
and coaches don't get paid for select, so they put in their own time, which is how you know that they actually care,
Oh, okay.
which is pretty nice.
I did not know that.
Mhm. But like Premier, on the other hand,
Mhm.
coaches get paid, and it's like a lot more expensive, and to me, it wasn't worth it.
Mhm. Do you think Premiere is used to be kind of like that, for example, like a fake, makes you feel like you're a professional player in a sense by being on Premiere?
Kind of. I think honestly, they care more about the club and like I don't know, I just feel like it's kind of this like monopoly, like
Mhm.
the less they care about like the like how do I put this? The like super competitive teams, there's usually like one per age group, and that's
Yeah.
where all the money goes towards, like all the
Mhm.
resources, they get to go everywhere. And the other lower teams are essentially just paying for that team's experiences, which I've felt to be really annoying.
And in the end, majority of those players probably don't even go pro or
Yeah.
even play at their college level.
Hmm.
So do you think it's worth it in the long run?
I think it just depends on what your goals are.
Mhm.
If you want to play like college soccer, go further, then I would say yes, it's worth it.
Mhm.
But if you're just doing it for fun, then I would say no.
Would you lean more towards just doing normal select soccer for fun or even rec soccer?
I would, yeah. If you're just looking for like entertainment, not like
Mhm.
entertainment, but just like extracurriculars,
Mhm.
I would just do select or rec. And if
Okay.
you're looking for something more, then I would say do Premier.
Do you think, now going to more of a bigger subject,
Mm.
on professional teams with their youth academies and how they develop players at a young age, do you think those kids, because they're going straight to like a professional organization and they're getting real-time training consistently every day after they get out of school, do you think that's having an effect on their mental side of development?
I think it definitely does because like from a young age, they're probably pressured to like be the best and they're not really getting to like enjoy their youth. They're just like training,
Yeah.
which like that could be enjoyable for a lot of people, but for some it might just be like the same thing over and over again. So by the time they're like in high school, it's probably just like
Yeah, they
they're
lose
just
the
used to
they
it and,
lose the
like,
joy
yeah.
that they got from a young age playing soccer. But when they
Yeah.
get thrown to this, as you said, monopoly system, they lose enjoyment.
Yeah, I feel like it just kind of takes away part of their childhood.
Okay. And by doing, I guess, from your experiences playing from rec and then going to select and going to premier level, now looking back on it now, how do you think those experiences change you as a person?
I think it made me a lot more confident in myself having like a hobby that I was pretty good at. Like I started out, I like had no confidence because I kind of sucked when I started like select.
Well, we're all
and
pretty
then-
bad when we first started out.
Yeah, and just like through like training and like finding my groove and stuff, it made me more confident. It also made me a lot more competitive, which I don't know if it's a good thing or not, but it's stuck with me through my
It's
life.
not bad to be competitive. No,
Yeah.
It's not bad at all. Nice.
It's like, yeah, it just taught me that like you got to work towards, like you don't just, you're not just good automatically. You have to like actually work towards it.
Yeah, work towards a goal, and it can be in anything, even besides soccer.
Exactly.
Growing up with soccer at a young age, what was your experience?
It was definitely up and down. Really, I guess I started when I was 5. Probably kicked a ball when I was 2. With my dad a lot of the time and with my brother as well, who, as you know, is 2 years younger than me. My dad always had hip replacements, so he couldn't really run that much, and my brother and I did most of the playing. But it was really like a bonding thing, I guess, for all of us, especially that in baseball. Played baseball till I was 12, and that was really the thing we did. I guess our team's been together for like 15 years now, still is together. It's kind of insane, to be honest, but really kind of like little family, and it's been good.
And just to clarify for at least my professor who's going to watch this, we're on the same team for pretty much 15 years, same rec soccer team.
Yeah.
But yeah, as a player, when you're playing, did you feel any pressure from outside forces like fans, coaches, or players?
Definitely from like family, but as a player, I was a captain for many years, like kind of an unofficial captain for a long time. I played center back for your professor to know that, and definitely felt pressure there, but I kind of turned it into like competitive drive, I guess. I felt a lot of pressure not to lose, especially for the team. Winning the city championship that one year was pretty amazing.
Yeah,
But I definitely felt a lot of pressure in the playoffs, especially when we lost to the team that we later beat. I really hated that, and I kind of blamed myself a lot for that. But I kind of struggled with other players like work ethic, especially Nathan, if you remember. But yeah, I felt pressure to not lose, but not really in other ways.
Okay. Do you think the path of taking rec soccer gave you important skills on the field and off the field?
Definitely. So our coach wasn't the best coach. We had a few, but none of them really soccer sense people. So I ended up doing a lot of the coaching, a lot of substitution stuff too. I felt like that really taught me a lot of leadership skills, and especially telling people where to go on the field as like a unofficial captain definitely helped me later in life. Also, just kind of like teamwork skills. Like right now, what we're doing, just talking, is like it's really helped me. With like soccer, really helped me. Getting more comfortable with this kind of stuff.
Yeah, more confidence.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I'm saying a lot. I would say it's really helped me in a lot of ways. Yeah, I'll leave it at that.
That's good. For travel experience, so going to games, field to field, was it a big commitment for a lot of travel, or was it pretty easy?
I would say it's fairly easy. I would compare it to my brother, who played select soccer for, I would say, 10 years. And he played Copa soccer, which was like the highest level. He used to travel for tournaments to like LA and San Diego and stuff, that was very challenging. For me, it was about a 30-minute drive max, and I always got carpools, so it was very good.
It's very accommodating.
Yeah.
And do you think the price you pay for doing rec soccer is worth the experience that you get out of it?
I definitely do. I also would compare this to select soccer in a way that my brother paid thousands of dollars, and he had a lot of pressure on him all the time. He eventually quit, and he's definitely a much nicer person, more relaxed. I felt that what we paid, like 20-something bucks, like that was a reasonable price, and kind of had a little family. It was very good.
Yeah, for like just, at least for anyone just wanting to have, you say rec be more having fun and just getting good experiences while playing a sport and not being raised to such a high level of intensity like select can do to some kids.
So for me, definitely, I have a competitive nature.
Yeah.
I can't really be bad at anything. Or I don't like to be bad at anything. So I definitely push myself in a lot of ways, even with rec. But many people on our team did not do so. Don't have to do so. Yeah. Also, sorry, one second.
Yeah, and you think that's okay? You
Yeah.
think it's totally fine for people to just take it easy.
Yeah, but even taking it easy, like I've seen everybody improve a lot. Like, I don't want to like pick and choose a name, but Bobby especially. Like back in the day, he couldn't kick a ball, and then he like, I'm not. It's true though, you know it. And Bobby, for your professor, is a very good friend of mine. Always has been, and he played like, or what did he play? Emerald City. He got injured, but like, he's developed very well. I don't think he like was very competitive even, but
No, he was a good goalkeeper.
yeah, he was good.
Yeah. So it shows. You can just develop and become great if you keep trying at it. And then I guess now to the bigger picture, kind of what all this means, at least in the grand scheme of things, kind of the monopoly of the sport and the money, when the money gets involved. So a lot of the pro teams have youth academies. That's how they get a lot of their players and how they don't have to spend money on new players. So it's cost effective. And they take a lot of young kids, like a very young age, like 5, 6, 7-year-olds, into these academies to start training them at a really young age, at high intensity levels. Do you think that affects their overall development as a person?
As a person or as a player?
As a person.
Definitely. So I didn't say this before, but my best friend Ethan, who actually went to high school with us, he played Crossfire Academy, then he played Sounders Academy, then he played Crossfire Academy again, and he really struggled with it. His coaches were very aggressive in their manner of teaching, very like, you have to do this, you have to do this, like really pushed him a lot. And basically he quit because his Sounders Academy coach really picked favorites and kind of like got rid of his other players almost. I think it really affected him for like many years. Recently he's been like he's changed a lot. And I think it really happened when he quit soccer. He actually got injured for like a year, so he didn't really have a choice in it. But he definitely has like a very aggressive drive to him. Like he really wants to win. He really wants to improve in everything he does. I don't know if I'd say it's a bad thing or a good thing. I kind of feel like I have that in a way, but not
I wouldn't
really
say
to
it's
the
a
point.
bad thing if you have a drive to always improve and try to be the best you possibly can be. I think it's a good thing.
Yeah, but it definitely seems like he's continuously trying to prove himself. Like there's no way he can really prove himself, and I think that really stemmed from his level of soccer. He definitely was also really down on himself when he got injured. Like it was kind of like the end of the world to him, even though it really wasn't in any way. But yeah, I definitely think raising somebody in that way or
putting them to such a high standard when they're such a
Exactly.
young age can affect them pretty much for
definitely
the rest of
can
their life.
affect them. Yeah.
Do you think the professional teams should change the rule and only take players when they're 18?
When they're 18?
Yeah, when they first become adults and they start playing in academies?
I would say no. In my personal opinion, I think the way that coaching happens should be changed. I think the age should be set back, but I don't know if 18 would be the age I would choose.
Okay.
I think a lot of the development starts when you're young, and you really gain a lot of skill. Like he's much more talented than I am. I can definitely say that, and it really shows in the way he plays. But I think that a coach can kind of value everyone equally instead of
Instead of
chose
individualizing people.
Yeah, he chose like 3 favorites, and then everybody else was like garbage to him. I don't think that's the way you coach, and I think academies do that a lot. They have like, this guy's going to go pro, this guy's going to go pro, everyone else doesn't matter. I don't think that should be a way you teach anybody.
Yeah, especially with soccer, because
yeah.
it's a team sport. I think, yeah, as you're saying, they should look at it as more as a team sport, not an individual sport, and respect people, all the people that are in the team, and try to make it the best they possibly can be.
Yeah, and then I think academy is free, right? I'm pretty sure select is the one that you have to pay for.
Mm-hmm.
So I understand a lot of that, but at the same time, I don't think it's worth it to drive somebody to that point. If they're the favorite too, then it's like maybe they go on, but
Yeah.
I don't think that's a way you should teach. So yeah.
Cool. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. Thank you.
The last question was very key. I asked both of them. What's the bigger picture? Looking at the bigger picture, what is it? It's pro teams. And what do pro teams do with young talent? They develop it. They enhance it. They train it to a level where they feel most comfortable, and they make them pro, or they trash them off. Now, is it right? Is it right for them to train young kids at age 5 to 10 up to when they're 18 and then say, it didn't work out for you? Is that okay on them? But how does that, not just is it okay, but how does it make the players feel mentally? This is a very important stage in their development life, going from ages 10 to adulthood in 18, 19 years old. And by putting a lot of time and effort and investment into going to their facility after school every day, doing lots of training for 3 to 4 hours, and then coming home and doing homework and getting a little sleep, how does that make them feel when they get let out? Most players don't go pro. These are questions that I don't have the answers to. A lot of the country believes that this is the right system, but I think it can hurt. There's definitely negatives to how the system works. The question is, do players need to be older for them to start training? Do they need to start being 18? Or maybe not even training. Maybe the types of training they're getting at a young age is restraining them. As Elijah said in the interview, I think some players get overworked with a higher level training, or expected to train like a 25-year-old when they're 15 or even 12. If the training's too intense, kids might take that into their life negatively and maybe not improve on other tasks because training might be too hard, or that might affect them in the long run. We don't know. These are questions for the world, but I'm here to talk to you about looking at both these levels of soccer in our country, and not looking at them as one's better than the other or vice versa, about how important they are to development. I think everyone, and I mean like everyone growing up, should be playing soccer as one of their sports starting out. It's a wonderful sport. You learn a lot. You learn a lot about team bonding. This is a sport where you need to work together to achieve a goal. And rec soccer is such a great launchpad because it's non-stress. But as days go on, it starts to become more stress. And I think parents put on a lot of stress in the game. I think a lot of people get wrapped up in the idea of winning and improvement over and over again. And then I think a lot of people forget that this is all for fun. And that doesn't matter in the end of the day. Most 99, probably 99% of the kids that you'll see play rec soccer or even select soccer aren't going to go pro. They aren't going to be superstars, and they aren't going to be world-class millionaires because they play soccer for a living. That's the reality of it. We all want that as players. We all want that as parents of players, to be the best they can possibly be, but you got to step back and look at everything. Look at what's going on. Sure, paying maybe a little bit extra to get the benefit of the training is worth. And some say, yeah, it is worth, and it's a great experience. And I think a lot of people have positive experiences like Sophia did. Or sometimes maybe it isn't worth the amount to pay. My brother played select soccer all his life and he loved it, and he's still playing it. And he sees that as his development. Unlike me, I played rec soccer all my life. And that was great enough, good enough for me. And I thought that was perfect. You can go on different paths. You don't have to be forced to go down one or the other. Both are fine. It's just about how you view it. It's about how much you put in and how much you want to get out of it. What really matters. And I think a lot of people forget that, at least the players do, and I think a lot of players see parents maybe as they need to just win the game by any means necessary, which is downright insane and not okay at the young level. I think coaches forget that as well. I think if we all work more together to play to improve talent and play not to just win by any means necessary, but to play to have fun. If we can play to have fun, at the end of the day, we'll all love this sport a little bit more than we already do. And we'll go home into our beds and realize how much fun we had that day playing soccer.